Good morning or good afternoon, everybody. I will get better with getting the videos in earlier. I do get a few emails from several of you students asking for the work earlier. So, if you're getting up in the morning and that's your work time, I completely respect that. So today the IM2 team is meeting with a district math administrator to go over what the essential standards are, meaning what we really must have you understand, master, so that as you move on into IM3, you can succeed. So that is why I went to my classroom yesterday to get on my materials, and then I will be meeting with them today at 12:30 via internet, or I don't know what they're using, but we're going to meet. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and start this assignment. We're going to review factoring where the A value is 1. So the easy factoring, because we're then going to go ahead and learn to rewrite the quadratics from factoring to then to binomial, and then of course we're going back and forth, okay? And then we're with the purpose of graphing them. So once you get your zero product property and you get your roots, your solutions, your x-intercepts, your zeros, yes, those are all synonyms. Okay, there's 4: x-intercepts, zeros, roots, solutions. Okay, there you go. We'll then start graphing with them. And if it takes you several days to get a hold of graph paper, if that is your goal, or if you're just going to move along with paper, that's fine as well. So we're going to work with what we got. Okay, so I appreciate all your messages, the little messages you make on your assignment. I miss you all. And we're going from there. Okay, here we go. Let me switch this. Yeah. Okay. We're going to review factoring quadratics. Today is Wednesday, March 18th. Okay, so let's review the factoring quadratics where the A value is 1 only. So these are the easy ones. We're going to factor these quadratics. We will use the magic X again. This is review, so if you don't need to do the magic X, then if you can come up with the numbers in your head, great. We're just going from step 1, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and write it as a product of binomials, right? So there is I need to get better at this. There is my binomial, and obviously we're only going to use the X for now because we're going for the goal of rewriting and graphing. So I won't use R's, or I won't use other variables. We're just going to stick with the X, okay? Remember, for magic X, the top number is your C value, that is your product, and the bottom number is your B coefficient, and that is your summation, whether you add and subtract. And we're going to pay attention to the signs, whether they're both positive, both negative, positive, negative. And again, it's not relevant as to which number goes on which side, okay? And then those two numbers will just go ahead and get rewritten into these binomials, right, as a constant term. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the first example, x squared plus xx minus 16, and I realized my hand was the problem, so, okay, let's go up. Okay, so this is my A value, that's 1, my B value is 6, and my C value is negative 16, correct? A is 1, B is positive 6, C is negative 16. Okay, if we create our magic X and fill it in, C value on top, and this is a product, summation on the bottom, that is positive 6. We need to find two numbers, two integers that satisfy the product of negative 16, but the summation of positive 6. Okay, we've gone over with a calculator, and again, you can use a cheapy calculator. You don't need the calculators that were in my classroom. You could even use your phone. But if you're watching this, I guess you can't really use your phone. All right, so remember, this calculator is going to produce fractions. Lesser calculators will give you a decimal. If you get a decimal, that's trash, right? You know that's not an option. You reject it. You're trying to find integers. So we're going to go ahead and start from the beginning, right? Remember how I just divide and try and get them? Okay, I'm going to get all the possible pairs of getting a product of negative 16, right? Okay, we know, let's see if I tilt. All right, oh yeah, see my hand. Okay, 1 times 16 gives me the product of 16, right? I can get, let's do this. Okay, 16 divided by 2 is 8, right? So because I got an integer, that is a possibility. 2 times 8, and that's not a decimal. That's supposed to be a, don't get confused with that, please. Okay, 16 divided by 3 is a fraction. So you see that? That's where you reject it. That is not a combination. So then 16 divided by 4, there's my integer. That is a combination. So 4 times 4 gives me 6. It gives me the product of 16. And then 16 divided by 5, you're not going to get anything else. 16 divided by 6, right? That's it. We're pretty much done. Okay, so these are the possibilities of getting the product of 16. 1 times 16, 2 times 8, and 4 times 4. I need to make that dot a little higher. Okay, now I want the summation of positive 6. Okay, so here's what you look at next. If you look at your, am I writing with blue? Okay, if you look at your C value is negative 16. That negative is very important. It's telling you that in order to get a negative product, a positive integer was multiplied by a negative integer, right? Okay, so that means one number will be positive and one number will be negative. So, and it doesn't matter which one, positive, negative, right? So one number will be positive and one number will be negative. Okay, so that means you're either going to get -1 times 16 or -16 times +1, the way you're going to get your product to be -16. All right, with that being said, now you're going to look at your summation. Your B value is +6. Okay, because after the difference, you have your difference being positive, that means your leftover was positive, which implies that your larger or your bigger integer was positive. So the bigger number will be positive and your smaller integer will be negative. Okay, so now you're going to go through these and give them a try. So you're going to subtract them because if you have a positive and a negative, you are subtracting. Okay, so what is 16? What is 16 take away 1? That gives me 15. 15 is not 6, so that does not match. All right, let's go to 4 because it's really the middle one. Okay, what's 4 take away 4? 0. 0 does not match 6, so that's out. Okay, what is 8 take away 2? 8 take away 2 is 6. That is our winner, right? That is our winning pair. So we now just have to make sure that we get the proper positive to the proper integer and the negative to the proper integer. Okay, so since 8 is positive, my bigger number will be positive. So this is going to be a +8 and a -2. Because +8 minus 2 is +6. You could check with a calculator. 8 minus 2, and there is my +6. Had you switched it and done -8 plus 2, that is incorrect. We don't want a -6, we want a +6, right? Okay, so you have your integers. So when you write it into, when you take the expanded form, right, it's a trinomial, and you rewrite it into factored form, because that's essentially what we're doing, rewrite into factored form, right, I get x plus 8, x minus 2, and we're going to go ahead and have it set equal to 0. And that is your binomial product in factored form, right? And by the way, sometimes as we move ahead, if I put FF, that just means factored form, just like zero product property is ZPP. Okay, all right, I'm gonna stop the video and then I'm gonna start the second one and then go ahead and I might do the third video because I realize a 20-minute video is just a really long video and some of your phones as far to download it. So I'm going to try and cut the videos up just so that it's not quite as long. And then that way too, if you understand, you can hurry up and kind of get to the assignment. Okay, so let me go ahead and get to the second one, but let me stop this, okay?